As a little bonus video, I wanted to show you how I can take this and add a little visuals to it and a little motion to, instead of having just static images, you can create a video presentation for your portfolio or your website. So in this case, it's a matter of just getting some transparent PNGs that don't have any of the backgrounds on any of these mockups or on the logo, so you can import them into your video editing software and add a video behind it. So that's what we're going to be doing here for the next few minutes, just doing this really quickly as kind of an extra bonus video. So I'm going to toggle off any kind of background that I see, so I'm just going to toggle that off. And there's like little shadows here. You can always toggle back on the background and do a very big different color here, so you can kind of see the other things you might need to remove. So there's a shadow here. Let's go ahead and remove the shadow, remove the background, and let's go ahead and add our own drop shadow to the t-shirt. So I'm just adding a little our own drop shadow so that it looks a little bit nicer. Okay, so now we have a transparent background and we can export this as a PNG. So I'm just going to export it as a PNG. And if you're not super comfortable in Photoshop, you know, I teach Photoshop classes. I teach a graphic design master class that goes through all the different classes as well. So there's a PNG ready to go. We can also do this with the logo. So we can show the logo mark and then we can overlay the, just have you saw earlier in the class, we can overlay the golden ratio circles on top of it in motion, which kind of adds a nice little characteristic to it. So I'm here in Adobe Illustrator. I just created a new artboard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to double that artboard. So I'm just going to go to Edit Artboards. I'm going to go up here to Add a New Artboard. So I just added a new artboard of the same size. And I'm just going to bring this right on over. Make sure I have both of them selected. And I have one on their own. And this is a transparent background. There's no background there. I'm exporting these as a PNG as well. I'm going to go to File, Export, and we're going to export as PNGs. We're going to go over this in the next lesson, how to export everything. So let's go ahead and export that to the desktop. So we have all of our PNGs that we want to show. We want to add a motion background. We want to add a video to it. There's a really great website called Pixabay, and that's some really cool, free to use. You can use these in client presentations. You can use them on your portfolio or website. Free videos. And I just searched for waves, and I made sure videos was selected. And I think I like this one here. It's a nice close-up tight shot. You just download it. Go ahead and download that. Resolution is fine. And I use a video editing software called ScreenFlow, and it's just for Mac right now. But they're hopefully going to have it for Windows. But you can use iMovie, you can use Window, Movie Maker, anything that allows you to have layers in your videos, which is almost any video editing software. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag, let's do the logo first. I'm getting both of these files, these PNGs, together. And since they're the same size, I can go ahead and scale them down. And I'm just showing you this. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because it's starting to get into video editing. But I'm just doing the scale and I'm just making them a little bit smaller. Just like that. And we can even pop in our wave background. It'll load in our wave background and put that in the background. And then I can do some color controls. You could do this with any video editing software where you change the brightness, the color, and the saturation. You can even desaturate it a little bit. You can bring down the brightness so you can really focus in on the logo. So I'm just bringing down the brightness on that. So when we zoom in here, we're going to have these load on top of each other. And so most video editing software allow you to add layers. So we're just adding those layers on top so they'll load together. And just adding little transitions, and this is getting a little bit more into video editing than logo design. Just kind of showing you my process of kind of how I do that. So what I want to do is I want to show, this is the timeline, and I want to show my logo mark first, and then I want to overlay the golden ratio. So I'm having this go first, and I'll go ahead and play this so you can kind of see what it looks like. So there's the waves going, and then you're going to load that on top. So now kind of arranging this, I need to make them white. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And this is all just part of testing it out. Depends on what background you use. I'm just going to make them white now. So now they're going to be white. Export those PNGs. Going to bring in that file just how we had it before. Going to add a nice transition to it. And now we just need to line it up. Not all video editing software is going to be precise. So we need to go in and we just need to line this up to how we have it. So now it's overlaid. So now we're going to zoom back out, and we probably need to reduce the brightness quite a bit on this. And I can increase the saturation and add like almost a duotone effect, which is kind of a Photoshop effect where you use two inks. And this is just, I'm not having you guys wanting to learn all this, but I'm just kind of showing you what I do. You can use any video editing software that you want to do a lot of this. Alright, so now we're going to go back and play this and see how it looks. I'm going to do a special transition. It's called the melt transition. Let me go down. These are different transitions, which is effects when a certain layer loads in. So I'm just going to do a melt. It's going to have, you can kind of see what the melt effect looks like. I'm going to do a nice long slow transition too, so you can see how I'm dragging that transition out. So here's what it looks like. Let's do a nice blur effect on this one and make that nice and long. So this is what it looks like. Just took a few minutes. Not everything's going to be perfect. Of course, it's a little sluggish because I'm recording at the same time, but you can kind of see the golden ratio added really slowly like that. And so it's just adding motion. I'm going to go ahead and export this because I'm recording, and so it's not showing the video in a really good resolution. So I'm going to export that and show you right now what that looks like. Just adds a little motion. You can also do the same thing with the t-shirt, and you can go ahead and add the t-shirt in there as well. And since we have a PNG, you just drag it as a layer on top, and you can have that transition nicely. So you can have a melt transition as well and have it be a nice long transition, and then zoom that out. Go ahead and scale it all the way down, and then you can play. So it's going to kind of come in, see that transition, how it's coming in. And so I'll go ahead and show you the video exported, since it's well, I can't record and also show this at the same time. But you can see how kind of it really adds, you know, a nice effect in presentation, especially when it comes to presenting it on a website portfolio, which we're going to get into in a few sections, where we're going to talk about how to best present your portfolio, especially with logo design and video. Having a video reel and having kind of your presentations like this is really nice, because you get to tell the story to somebody. All they have to do is come and they see a big video, they click on it, and they can really see the portfolio in the way you want to present it, but also in the order you want to present it. Because when you present a bunch of thumbnails, you never know which one they're going to pick on, and you want to kind of present them in the what you think is the strongest logo design. So we'll get to that later. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this extra bonus video. I wanted to kind of go through how I do this in video editing software.